Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel, The Cheryl Hubbard Show, right here on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. So how y'all doing out there today? Sending all my prayers out to you, all you YouTubers, everyone around the world. Thanks for being here. Thanks for joining me. Glad to see you here. Glad you can make it. So all my prayers go out to everyone around the world. And I want to say, first giving honor to God. God, thank you for everything you've done for me in my life. Thank you for the blessings, the many blessings that you have blessed my life with. So I want to say prayers to everyone, all of you around the world. Hope you're having a nice Tuesday. So we're nearing the middle of the week. Tomorrow is, as they call it, Hump Day Wednesday. So today is Tuesday, June 16th, 2020. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here. Glad to see you. So, like in my previous video, I talked about contract law. Then I did another video on constitutional law and intellectual property law. And today I want to touch base on tort law and criminal law. So I want to outline some of the differences, tort law and criminal law. So let's get started. First, a definition. First, a definition of tort law. Tort law is a set of laws that provide remedies to individuals who have suffered harm by the unreasonable acts of another. The law of tort is based on the idea that people are liable for the consequences of their actions, whether intentional or accidental. It says if they cause harm to another person or entity. So in other words, you cause harm to a person or a company, a business, a corporation, and even if it's intentional or unintentional, it will come under tort law. So tort law is basically like a civil wrong. So tort law determines whether a person should be held legally accountable for an injury against another, as well as what type of compensation. The injured party is entitled to the injured party is entitled to the remedy. So in other words, somebody hit you in the face, assault, or assault and battery, commit assault and battery, and that would be a civil wrong that comes under tort law, and you will have the injured party will be can collect damages, remedy. So it's different, different circumstances when it comes to criminal law and civil law. So I'm going to get into the differences. And then it says 4 elements to every successful tort case. So it has to be proven the duty, breach of duty, causation, and injury for a tort claim to be well-rounded. In other words, for a tort claim to be well-rounded, duty has to be proven, breach of duty, causation, and injury. There must have been a breach of duty made by the defendant against the plaintiff. So what else do we have? And we have intentional torts. So intentional torts, when an individual or entity purposely engages in conduct that causes injury or damage to another. So in other words, you purposely go walk up to somebody and just smack them in the face or hit them. You have that intent behind it, not as though you were like, you were joking, you were playing, you just, tap them on the shoulder like that. That would not be a crime because there's no intent behind it. Most crimes are built on intent. So intent to harm. So I would walk up to somebody and I hit them in the face, I intend on harming them. That would be a civil wrong, and it can also turn criminal. to a criminal case. So I walk up to somebody but I accidentally bump into them or tap them on the shoulder. Hey, how you doing? You know, that is not, I didn't intend any harm. I just, you know, played with them, tapped them on the shoulder. There wasn't no intent to harm behind that. So let's move on. Striking someone in a fight would be considered an intentional act that would fall under the tort of battery. As I said, striking somebody, hitting somebody, you fighting, you intend on harming them. It's an intent to harm. Most crimes are built on intent. So you have to have that intent behind it. I'm not a lawyer, but I just, always have done my reading. And I have taken several law courses. So, always, everything is right on the internet. So, ignorance of the law is inexcusable. So, young people out there, get down on the computer, get down on the internet. A lot of us don't have, I've been to school, got my degree, but some of us may not have money to go to college, but everything is right online. Anything you want to know about any subject, online, on YouTube. So I have learned a lot by just going online, doing my research. Going online, doing my research, going on YouTube, and I find out a whole lot of stuff. So let's keep the ball rolling. Okay, striking someone in a fight would be considered an intentional act that would fall under the tort of battery. Whereas accidentally hitting, as I said, is accidental. I'm sorry, I accidentally bumped into you. That is not a crime. There was no intent behind me accidentally bumping into someone. So whereas accidentally hitting another person would not qualify as intentional because there was no intent to strike the individual. Although it may seem like an intentional tort can be categorized as in other words, although it can seem like an intentional tort, it can still be categorized as a criminal case. There are important differences between the two. A crime can be defined as a wrongful act that injures or interferes with the interests of society. In comparison, intentional torts are wrongful acts that injure or interfere with an individual's well-being or property. So in other words, you damage somebody's property, that's still, and then you intend on doing it. In other words, you went up there and you took a bat and you just started knocking on the concrete, beating the concrete, breaking it all up on somebody's property. So that is intentional. So that is intentional tort. So intentional torts are wrongful acts that injure or interfere with an individual's well-being or property, while criminal charges are brought by the government and can result in a fine or jail sentence. So in other words, tort law is basically remedies, and you want to punish I guess it would call it the defendant. You want to punish the defendant, and so the person that was injured, they can collect damages, so you'll get a remedy. But that's civil law. But in criminal law, they're looking for jail time. And sometimes you may pay a fine too. So you still may get jail time and jail time. So basically remedy versus jail time. Excuse me. So civil law, they're looking for a remedy. Criminal law, jail time. Says while criminal charges are brought by the government, and when it comes to civil cases, they are brought by the plaintiff. In other words, you want a civil case against someone. Like I said, assault and battery. Somebody hit you in the face. And then you still want to seek civil. You want to sue for damages. You want to sue for damages, punish the. I guess you could call it the tortfeasor. You can punish the tortfeasor, sue for damages, and collect the remedy, and collect funds. Well, it says While criminal charges are brought by the government, when it comes to civil charges, that they are brought by the plaintiff. Tort charges are filed by a plaintiff seeking monetary compensation for damages that the defendant must pay if they lose. Sometimes a wrongful act may be both a criminal and a tort case, as I was saying. Sometimes it can be tort and sometimes it can be criminal. Intentional torts include assault, battery, false imprisonment, conversion, intentional infliction of emotional distress, fraud, deceit, trespass, defamation. So these can be intentional torts. So intentional torts, you intended on harming that person. You intended, intentional tort. So you walk across somebody's property and you're not supposed to be on there. That's trespassing. So they call it that's under the intentional tort. Intentional tort defamation. You say somebody have AIDS, or you saying something about a person that you know is not true, but that would be defaming their character. Defamation of character. And another law term that comes under torts, strict liability, involving strict liability. Torts involving strict liability. Strict or absolute liability applies to cases where responsibility for an injury can be imposed on the wrongdoer without proof of negligence or direct fault. So it says involving strict liability, torts involving strict liability, strict or absolute liability applies to cases where responsibility for an injury can be imposed on the wrongdoer without proof of negligence or direct fault. So in other words, to prove strict liability, it doesn't have to be proven. The wrongdoer, doesn't have to be proved. It doesn't have to be proven that the wrongdoer was negligence or was a direct fault. So I learned about strict liability. It also involves, like, in other words, you buy a product, you're strictly liable. You buy a product from the manufacturer or from the store. Say, for instance, you open a box and it blows up in your face and burns your head, burns your hair out, or burns your head. So the manufacturer and the retailer could be strictly liable because, they didn't intend on the harm, but you got harmed. You open a package that you bought from the manufacturer or you bought it from the retailer, from the retail store. So sometimes the retailer and the manufacturer who made the product could be liable. It says consumer must establish that their injuries were directly caused by the product in question in order to have the law on their side. So in other words, you open that box and say, for instance, you did some Christmas shopping and you open that box and you was injured, but you had to prove that you was injured by that. So that's sort of like proximate cause. I learned a term too called proximate cause. So that means the exact cause. So in other words, if I hit myself or somebody hit me with a brick, and say, for instance, somebody hit me with a brick. One person hit me with a brick and it was no injury, but then somebody else hit me with a different type of rock. But the different type of rock was the one that broke my skin open. So which would be the proximate cause? The one that broke my skin open. See, the brick they hit me with didn't cause no damage, but then one person hit me with a brick. Then the next person hit me with a just a scenario. The next person hit me with a big old rock, and then that broke my skin open, and my skin was bleeding. So the proximate cause would be the big rock, and that's a brick, because the brick didn't cause any damage. So I'm just saying, dude, that's just a scenario, So and then we have examples of strict liability, torts, defective products, as I was saying. I said defective products, torts, because the manufacturer and the retailer didn't intend on harming you, but they harmed you. Their product harmed you, but you still had to prove that it was their product that harmed you, and nothing else. So, animal attacks, abnormally dangerous activities. In other words, you going out skydiving. Who's liable for those type of things if you get hurt? You skydiving, you jumping out of planes, and I mean, who in the world would be liable? I mean, then you have you might have what you call a parachute. Whatever you doing, you skydiving and you parachuting out of this plane, and then the parachute don't open up like it's supposed to. That's a liability too. That looks like to me that could come under tort law as well. So you got hurt, you expecting and the daggone thing malfunctioned and didn't open up. And it didn't open up on time, or it didn't open up the right way, so you were injured when you jumped out of that plane, and that parachute didn't work properly, and you were injured, so that could come under strict liability too. I mean, it could. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm just speculating on that one. But I'm not a lawyer, just going over some terms that seem interesting to me. Then we have, I already read it, intentional torts. I read these. Okay, so then I was talking about strict liability. That means you have absolute liability, responsibility for an injury. You're absolutely liable and responsible for an injury to another person. It can be imposed on the wrongdoer without proof of negligence or direct fault. So it doesn't have to be proven that you were negligent. It definitely wasn't no intent behind it, like in criminal law. So it wasn't no intent behind it, but you don't have to prove that you was negligent. In other words, like I said, you buy a product. You bought some shampoo, some conditioner, and you got home, washed your hair, conditioned your hair, and it burnt all your hair out. You were injured. Burnt your scalp, burnt all your hair out. So they didn't intend on harming you, but you were harmed. So that could come under strict liability, product liability. That is a tort. Come under civil law, tort law. So you would be the tortfeasor, I guess you would call them. Tortfeasor would be liable for damages to the injured party. So, and let's see what else I have. So, I have differences here. We have under civil law, you can sue for remedy. Under criminal law, you're prosecuted 9 times out of 10 by the government, and they will be seeking punishment. So that's the difference. Civil law, you could be liable or not liable. In criminal law, defendant is guilty or not guilty. Civil law is a tort. Civil law is considered a tort, and it's a private wrong. Criminal law is a crime as a public wrong. So basically, criminal law is crimes against society as a whole, and tort is like a private wrong. And in civil law, punishment as compensation. So in other words, in civil law, you get punished. The injured party would be seeking the remedy. So they would have to be compensated, meaning you would have to pay. You have to pay a fine, and it will help the injured party. And it's another term I learned too called restorative justice. So in other words, the injured party will receive compensation, and that is basically what they call trying to restore justice. So you want to place the injured party back to the same state that they were in before they were injured. This comes under restorative justice. That's another word I learned, another term, restorative justice. And so, another difference is in civil law, the injured person is the plaintiff. In the government, the government and the prosecutor will prosecute the case. And then we have in civil law is considered the preponderance of the evidence lies within the plaintiff. In criminal law, is beyond a reasonable doubt. So, in other words, criminal law, beyond a reasonable doubt. In other words, you can't have not one doubt at all. So, if you have a doubt, they usually send you back to deliberate. Because I've been on the jury. I served jury duty several times. So. But if the jury comes with, they have to look at it beyond a reasonable doubt. In criminal, in civil, they have to. It's initiated by the plaintiff. It's a preponderance of the evidence in civil law. The preponderance of the evidence lies within the plaintiff, and criminal beyond a reasonable doubt. So it's beyond a reasonable doubt. You can't have any doubt. So it has to be guilty or it has to be innocent. Then we got in civil law, it's based on solving many private matters, and in civil law, it's based on solving many private matters. Criminal law is crimes against society as a whole. In other words, you commit a crime, you go and whatever crime you commit, grand theft auto or whatever you do, steal somebody's car, steal a car from a car dealership. That is a crime against society as a whole, so that comes under criminal law. But if you injure a person, that comes under civil law. You injure a person, you get in a car accident or you just go up there and hit somebody in the face. Assault and battery, that comes under civil law, but it can also turn criminal. Some cases can turn criminal into a criminal case. This is the last one, I think. In civil law, disputes between individuals, organizations, were infected. One is compensated. Disputes between individuals or organizations where infected, one is compensated. It is about restorative justice, placing the injured party back to the original health state. That's what I put down in. And criminal, in criminal law, the complaint is lodged with the police who investigate the crime. Thereafter, a case is filed in the court. So that comes under criminal law. So, in other words, a complaint is lodged with the police, and then they investigate the crime. I guess they investigated to see if there's enough evidence to take it back to the court. And thereafter, a case is filed in the court, in a court of law. And this is just a little definition I got off the internet. Civil law, the system of law concerned with private relations. In other words, relations with private citizens, private relations between members of a community, rather than criminal, military, or religious affairs, contrasted with criminal law, the criminal law and the legal system. So civil law is private. It's like a private wrong. Tort law comes under civil law. You have tort law, like I said, you hit somebody in the face, that's, assault and battery, that comes under tort law. And then you have to pay, if they bring a civil case against you also, they can seek money damages. They can be, you have to compensate the victim. So I think that is that for, tort law. And so let me see what else I have. So let's have a definition. It's a definition of criminal law. Criminal law can be understood as a set of rules and statutes that highlights the conduct or act prohibited by the state as it violates the intention of the law, threatens and harms public welfare and safety. The law does not only define the crime, but also specifies punishment to be imposed for the commission of a crime. The primary objective of criminal law is to penalize the person who committed a crime. So the objective is to penalize. So in other words, right, in criminal law, the objective is to penalize the person who committed the crime. That's criminal law. And civil law is to compensate the victim. Compensate the victim and punish the. Civil law, you still have to have a punishment, but they want to compensate the victim to get the victim back to where put the victim back in at the state that they were in before they tortfeasor, before the tortfeasor harmed them. So what else we have? See, when one commits an act which is not permitted by law, he or she risks prosecution. In criminal law, firstly, the complaint is registered with the police regarding the crime, after which the police investigates the crime and files criminal charges. The aggravated party can only report a crime, but the charges can only be filed by the government, who is represented by the prosecutor in a court of law against a defendant. And here are some differences. Key differences between civil law and criminal law. The differences between civil law and criminal law can be drawn directly on the following grounds. A general law, which is associated with disputes between individuals, organizations, or a two, wherein the wrongdoer compensates the affected one, and this is civil right here, is known as civil law. The law with respect to the offenses or crimes committed against a society as a whole is criminal law. In other words, crimes against society as a whole, as a society as a whole is criminal law. Personal, so society, a crime against a individual person comes under civil law. So crimes, it says, whereas the wrongdoer compensates the affected one, is known as civil law. A general law, which is associated with disputes between individuals. So individuals having disputes will come under civil law, but criminal law is directed at society as a whole. While a civil law is initiated by the plaintiff, criminal law is petitioned by the government. So these are things you can read up on. Civil law is concerned with any harm or infringement of individual rights. And against this, the criminal law is all about the acts which law defines as offenses. In civil law, the remedy is sought to settle the dispute between the parties concerned, wherein compensation may be provided to the aggravated party. So, right, in other words, they want to compensate the victim when it comes to civil law. And you get a remedy, compensate the victim, that's civil law. Criminal law, punishment, and maybe jail time. So let's see if we can find out what types of crime are considered civil and what types of crimes are considered criminal, what types of crimes are considered civil. Let me see. What types of crimes are considered civil and what types are criminal. So that's what I want to know. And I hope you want to know too. So these are some things that are good to know, difference between civil law, criminal law. So, you don't have to go to law school. I mean, if you want to go to law school, that's cool, but all this information is right here for the taking. I don't mind. I do my research right here. I have my HP desktop computer that's videos recording me right now, and then my laptop. So it don't take much. So I mean, you know, research and writing. That's all I did when we were in when I was down Australia University. Research, writing, reports, presentations. So let me see. Okay. Okay. What is criminal law? What are crimes? What are crimes? Okay, here we go. What are the different types of crimes? This is what I want to know. We have assault and battery. Assault and battery. What are different types of crime? Assault and battery. Assault refers to the intentional creation of a reasonable apprehension of harm. So like I said, assault and battery. You hit somebody in the face, that's assault and battery. In other words, assault is a situation in which one person causes another person to fear being harmed. Yep. Putting that person in fear. That's assault and battery. Assault and battery are most commonly considered two distinct personal crimes. Although many states do merge the two crimes into one crime known as assault and battery. So in other words, it can be two crimes. It can be assault, it can be battery, or it can be assault and battery. So in other words, it could come together because if you put somebody in fear and then you hit them, so you put me in fear, that was the assault. Then you actually hit me, that was a battery. Battery refers to the unauthorized application of force against another person's body. This results in offensive touching or actual physical injury. Hold tight. Hello.
Hello, this is Jonah calling on behalf of CV Pharmacy. May I please speak to Samira Williams?
No, wrong number.
I'm so sorry about that. We'll go ahead and update our records. Have a great day.
Okay. Wrong number. Okay, so we're talking about assault and battery. So in other words, you put a person in fear. You know, you all wound up. You put that fear in them. That would be the assault. You actually hit them. That would be the battery. Okay, let's see. Okay. This battery refers to the unauthorized application of force against another person's body. This results in offensive touching. Offensive touching. In other words, you intended on causing harm. See, that intent behind that makes that a crime. So offensive touching. So you offended the person, or actual physical injury, as some jurisdictions define assault as attempted but failed battery. Battery charges are commonly grouped with assaults to form a single charge. And then we have false imprisonment. False imprisonment refers to one person forcibly restraining another person against their will with the risk of being seriously injured or killed. So in other words, you restraining somebody against their will, and then you injured them or killed them. You know, so that is a crime, and that comes under. This comes under. It didn't say whether that was. I think that comes under. That doesn't say. It says, look, there are many different crimes, and what exactly constitutes a crime may vary from state. In general, crimes may be categorized into four broad categories. Personal crimes. These crimes are offenses against a person. Okay, I think these would come under civil. Because it says against a person. It said offenses. These crimes are offenses against a person. Okay, we have false imprisonment. Kidnapping, false imprisonment refers to one person forcibly restraining another against their will with the risk of being seriously injured or killed. Any person who intentionally restricts another person's freedom of movement without their consent may be liable for false imprisonment. Kidnapping is defined as the carrying away, then you have kidnapping, carrying away or confinement of a person by force or deception without that person's consent. In other words, kidnapping is the seizure and detention of a person without their consent. You have homicides, but we know that goes into criminal. Homicides, rape, all those are criminal. So I wouldn't put that under civil law. Then we come down to theft. Theft, larceny refers to a type of theft in which a person takes another person's property and carries it away with the intent to permanently deprive the legal owner of their property. Then you have robbery. Robbery is known as theft by force and may also be considered a personal crime as it often results in physical and mental harm. So you can harm somebody physically and mentally. You take their stuff, you steal from them, you know. So a lot of times people don't think about that. They say, well, I steal their watch, I steal their money. But they don't know, they have to realize that you mentally harming them and physically harming them. So then you have arson. Arson is a willful and malicious burning or charring of another person's property or structure. Then you have white-collar crimes. White-collar crimes, embezzlement, refers to a type of white-collar crime in which a person entrusted with the finances of another person or business illegally takes their money for their own personal use. So embezzlement, in other words, you're working for somebody, say for instance, you're working for a bank, and you have access to all this money, and you end up, you know, you're looking at the money and you think about it, and you end up taking the money, you know, that's embezzlement. You're working for a company that entrusted you with money, so embezzlement. And then, like I said, another term I was talking about in one of my other videos, forensic accounting, when you're entrusted in you're working for a company, you're taking care of their books, you're working in the accounting department, and their money ends up missing. You know, that comes under forensic accounting. That could be embezzlement too if you're messing with the money that don't belong to you. You're working for a company that entrusted you with the money. So that's how that goes. They entrusted you to take care of the money, you're doing accounting books and all that, but you know, they had to end up getting the forensic accountant because they felt some money had came up missing. So, you know, then we have false pretenses. Refers to a combination of fraud and larceny in which a person misrepresents in order to obtain the property of another. You misrepresented yourself under false pretenses. You got somebody's property or money under false pretenses because you misrepresented yourself. You lied about, I guess, who you were. Then we have receipt of stolen goods. So in other words, your only defense to that would be, hey, I didn't know this stuff was stolen, but receipt of stolen goods, that's a crime. Then we have to receive a stolen good. It is a crime to receive or purchase property that you know or believe to be stolen or otherwise obtained through theft. In other words, somebody else stole it and you wanted to buy it because you thought it was a good deal, it was a cheap deal, but you knew it was stolen, but you purchased it anyway. You purchased it anyway from that person. But, you know, but in your case, if you didn't know that it was stolen and you say that somebody come along and say, hey, look, I have this computer I want to sell, but you didn't know it was stolen, but you know the person and you're like, no, I can trust this person. And they say, well, I want to sell this computer to you for a couple $100s. And you say, well, because it's a $800 computer and they sold it to you for $200, you felt you can trust them. But all the time it was stolen, you know. So that's receiving stolen property. But your only defense would be, hey, I ain't know it was stolen. You know, that's why a lot of times when you buy stuff from people, you know, get a receipt. Get your receipt and say, hey, you know, make sure they sign it. And that's how they go. Get a receipt from that person, let them sign it, that way anything come up later on, you know who you purchased it from. You know, as long as they don't put the wrong name down there, but like I said, if you know that person, that's something different, you know, but I don't usually try to buy nothing from nobody in the street. You know, because my uncle always told me that, look, Cheryl, don't pull out no money out your pocket. So, you know, I'm always trying to go to the store. Sometimes getting a cheap deal on things that people selling in the street. Nowadays, it's not good to even pull out no money and you know, it can be the best deal in the world, but it's not good to pull out your money out there in the street. And then, so most of the time I order my stuff or, you know, go to the store and get what I need. And so let me see. What is another? Okay, I said we did tort law, civil and criminal law. So I went over the differences. So let's see. Let's see. Let's see whatever kind of laws that we have. Whatever areas of law are there? How many areas of law? Let's see if we can find out how many other areas of law. List of law. Okay, well, we have administrative law, we have admiralty law, adoption law, agency law. Oh, we got animal law, civil rights law, corporate law, criminal law. I went over criminal law. Administrative or admiralty law. I never heard of that one, so let's see what that is. Admiralty law regulates economic transactions and property disputes involving marine trade, sailors, navigation, or land-based activity that is maritime in nature. Admiralty law is not, however, synonymous with the law of the sea. They got the law of the sea. There's so many different laws. Which is in the realm of international public law and deals with rights to navigation, minerals or coastal waters, jurisdiction. Learn more, the Maritime Law Association of the United States. Let's look up maritime law. Let me see if we can find out some more about that. Let's see if we can find out some more information on maritime law. Okay. Okay, maritime law. I'm trying to find out a little bit more about that. Maritime law. Maritime law is also called admiralty law or law of admiralty. The laws and regulations, including international agreements and treaties, which exclusively govern activities at sea or in any navigable waters. So it's dealing with, I guess, soldiers and sea. It's international agreements and treaties, which exclusively govern activities at sea. So governing regulations at sea. So I think that would be sailors and say, what is the maritime law? What is its function? It said maritime law, also known as admiralty law, is a body of laws, conventions, and treaties that govern private maritime business and other nautical matters, such as shipping or offenses occurring on open water. International rules governing the use of the oceans and seas are known as the law of the sea. So I guess they have to have, there's so many areas of law. I guess they have to have, law is so broad, in all areas, just like business. So, this is something that, I really, haven't really did any research on before, but I wasn't doing nothing. I'm home, I'm quarantined. I said, why not do a lot of research? I wanted to know, I was just curious to know how many areas of law are there in this world. Because sometimes you know of certain ones, but you're like, look, let me find out how many it is, because I might want to learn. You want to learn something new. So we know criminal law, civil law, international law. We know business law, and we know the basic ones that we know: criminal law, civil law, international law. Like I said, business law, and so this is a term actually I never really heard of, but I figure they, sometimes you may know something, but you don't know what type of name it goes under. But you figure there's a law, it has to be a law, everything has to be governed. So, but you just don't, you might not have known, especially if you're not in that area, in that area of study. You're not, my area was, well, I did study business and information systems, and I took business law. Well, we didn't touch base on this maritime law. And it said maritime. Oh, so basically it's the law of the sea governing the waters, including international agreements and treaties. So in other words, I guess, you can't probably, because you can't, in other words, you can't, just like the airspace, you fly an airplane, you cannot intrude on the airspace of another country without permission. So I guess that's the same thing with, when you're dealing with water. You out there on the sea, you go in the wrong territory, it can be dangerous, especially for people that's against your country. They're against your country and you out there, you don't know where you at, and you mess around with the wrong area, you interfering, you on somebody else's property, like airspace, can't, you have to have permission before you go. And then if they have war or they against each other, countries against each other, and then, because they ready to shoot you down out the sky, cannot invade no one's airspace. So I figured that would be the same thing for the sea and out there on the water. Everything has to be regulated. Maritime. See, what is maritime law and what is its function? So what is maritime? What does maritime law mean? It said a branch of international law that deals with territorial and international waters, or with shipping or ocean fishery, etc., etc. That's marine law. Marine law. Oh, that's a different one too. Maritime. This is marine law. Marine law. The branch. I never even knew they had something called marine law. You learn something new every day. No, it's a branch of international law that deals with its territorial and international waters. So let's move on to that one. I'm gonna write all these down when I finish. Cause we got marine law and maritime law. See, maritime law, also known as admiralty law. So we got maritime law, marine law, admiralty law. What is known as maritime law is known as admiralty law, so they're similar. The body of laws that govern private maritime questions, disputes, or offenses and other nautical matters. This is something else, I tell you. Okay, whatever law did we come across? Let me see. Let me see if I can do a couple more. I want to find out whatever laws, what other areas of law do we have that is, good to learn about, good to study. So let's finish. Uh, what are the various areas of law? So, okay, here we go. We got business law, as I said, criminal law. We got estate planning. Yeah, we know estate. I knew that because, you got to deal with your probate court and things like that, or estate planning. I learned that. I learned a little bit about that in my paralegal course. Estate planning, got family law, immigration law, employment law. We have personal injury law, real estate law, tax law. And it's more than this. That ain't even half. Business law, criminal law, estate planning, family law, immigration law. Let's see what immigration law means. All right, let's go with immigration. Let's see what immigration law is talking about. Let's see what immigration law is talking about. Okay, immigration law is the practice of law governing the entry, admission, and status of people wishing to transit through, reside in, or become citizens of the United States. So, immigration law it is a vast, complicated field that covers both intending and non-intending immigrants and their ability to work in the United States. Immigration law, the practice of law governing the entry, admission, and status of people wishing to transit through, reside in, or become citizens of the United States of America. So, right, they have to have some type of guidance because you have, in other words, for them to come over here, immigrants to come over here. They say we all migrated from somewhere, our ancestors. So we all migrated from somewhere. We came from somewhere. But immigration, in other words, you have these immigrants coming from different countries, and they want to come over to the United States and be citizens. But some of them are coming over here illegally. I guess it's good to have a law because they have to be governed. They're coming over here illegally. That's why Trump wanted to build that wall, keep them out. But basically, he want to keep the criminals out, the criminal ones out. So, so hold up for a second. Hello? A lot of crank calls every day, every day. But immigration law, so basically laws have to be put in place for this, and for this, and for that, because without laws, without law and order, where in the world will we be? So immigration law, the practice of law of governing entry. So in other words, immigrants, they entering into the United States. And what are their status? And the status of people wishing to transit through, reside in. So they want to transit through, reside here, but they have to have their green card, or they have to become United States citizens. So I don't know what the process is. I will have to do more research on the process that they will have to go through to become United States citizens. Because I was always a citizen. I was born right here in the United States of America. I was born right here in Washington, D.C., so I am a United States citizen. But I don't know what they have to go through and the paperwork that they have to deal with, or how long the process takes. I would assume there would be a process once they put their paperwork in. In other words, you put your paperwork in. I don't know if it's automatic. In other words, they put their paperwork in, they want to be a citizen, what are the requirements becoming a citizen? Do they look at your criminal record? And they say, hey, well, you know what? This person is an immigrant. I'm just speculating now. I figure if they say if this person is an immigrant, they migrated, they came from another country, but they got a long criminal record, and they want to become a citizen, what process do they have to go through? I figure they fill out the paperwork. Are they eligible to become United States citizens? So I don't know what the process is, but that's what, I guess that all will come under immigration law. So immigration law, it says immigration law refers to the national statutes, regulations, and legal precedents governing immigration into and deportation from a country. As I said, coming from other countries. Strictly speaking, it is distinct from other matters such as naturalization and citizenship. Although they are often conflated, immigration law is vary around the world. Immigration laws vary around the world, as well as according to the social and political climate of the times. As acceptance of immigrants sways from the widely inclusive to the deeply nationalist and isolationist, countries frequently maintain laws which regulate immigrant, I guess I would say immigrant citizens. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up shortly. We got about 4 more minutes. Okay, whatever laws can I talk about real quick? I got a few minutes. I always try to make my videos at least an hour. Areas of law. Okay, let's see what other areas of law. Okay, they got financial law. Never heard of that one. I heard about estate planning, family law, financial law, consumer law. Let me go with consumer law. I assume that everybody have to, deal with consumer law. Consumer law, a consumer lawyer. Wow, this is very fascinating. Consumer law. Wow. Consumer law. Well, we have the Consumer Financial Protection Act is an amendment to the National Bank Act designed to identify and explain the standards that apply to national banks. The Consumer Financial Protection Act aims to increase oversight and clarify the laws governing financial transactions in order to protect consumers in these transactions. So consumers always have to be protected. That's why when you're running these businesses, that's why I always say the customer is number one, and you have to have a strong product, quality product. You have to be ethical, morally sound. You run a business, you don't want to be unethical. You want to be ethical. And they always learn that the customer is always right. But you still have to look out for your employees. Employees sometimes in some companies are number one, customers number two. Most companies, customers are number one. Because I know I did a report on Southwest Airlines when I was in college and Strand University and Southwest Airlines, and they said number one, employees, number two, customers. But I feel that you can put them both. I would put them both on the same. I would put both of them first. My business, I would put both of them first. Because in other words, Southwest Airlines, when I did my report, employees, they said the employees were number one, but I don't know. The policy might have changed by now, but that was back when I was at Strand University. In other words, if you beat down your employees, it's going to trickle down to your customers. Because if you're treating your employees wrong and you're not paying them right, working conditions are bad. That's why you see some companies, employees go on strike. Employees, they feel we should be number one. They go on strike. You know, working conditions, uh, messed up pay. Pay is not, you know, they always say men make more than women on the same, you know, equal jobs, but pay is messed up. Pay is low. Working conditions, they don't get the hours that they need. Um, yeah, that's the salary. In other words, you making $12 an hour, a woman making $12 an hour, and a man on the same with the same position in another company, he may be getting $15 an hour. So you know, uh, pay rate, you know, is various, an astronomical difference in the pay rate between men and women. So, in other words, so that's how that go. You know, so that's what I'm saying with employees. Sometimes in some companies, they be like, look, we put our employees first. We want to make sure they have their bonuses. We want to make sure they have equal pay. We want to make sure they have great working conditions. We want to make sure the women working have their be able to get their maternity leave. We don't want to say, hey, since you're pregnant, we're gonna let you go. Nah, maternity leave, you go take it 6 months off, or 3 months, 4 months off. When I think it's more. I think it used to be 3 months. I don't know if they raised that or not, but I believe it used to be 3 months. But I don't know if you can take 6 months off or whatever. But who wants to leave a 3-month-old baby and come back to work? But you still want to be able to come back to your job. But so I said, you know, so employees sometimes can be number one. Without employees, you basically don't even have a business. What kind of business do you have if you don't have no employees? You got a store and you open up your store and and you don't have nobody on the cash register. You don't have nobody on the floor. So when the customers come in, I mean, so you know, employees are number one. Employees should always be number one. The customers are number one too. But it's almost like you don't know, you know. It's almost like you might have to basically put them employees number one. See, this how they call you. Scam. Yeah, see, they call you scam. But consumer law. So there is something. I'm gonna do more research on a lot of these laws too. I'm definitely gonna do. I might do another video on consumer law, but I don't have too much time on this video. But let's see where consumer. They didn't give me the Oh, okay. Nope, I didn't. I didn't type it right. Consumer law. Okay. Let's get a little definition of consumer law, and I'm about to wrap up this. Okay. It's not giving me. Okay, consumer law. Okay, here it is, I believe. What is consumer law? I say, what is consumer law? Let's see. Consumer law involves all the regulations and statutes that seek to create a more equitable balance for buyers in the marketplace and prevent sellers from using dishonest tactics. Yep. So consumer law, it helps the consumer in the marketplace. You out there purchasing wherever you're buying at, you know, because we don't want these businesses to take advantage of us and our money. So that's what it says. Consumer law involves all the regulations. So rules and regulations, laws, statutes that protect us when we're out there in the marketplace. We're spending our money. We want our money to be protected. Like I ordered some stuff from Amazon, and I've been ordering a whole lot of stuff recently. So I ordered these clippers for my son's hair, so I can cut my son's hair. And I've been waiting 2 weeks all the time. You know, I've been waiting for 2 weeks, and then at the last minute, I'm already waiting 2 weeks. for the clippers to arrive. And then the day before, they tell me that my package will be delivered. Then they give me a message on my Amazon page. Oh, sorry, but there's a delay. I'm like, how in the world is it going to be a delay in the last day or two that my package is supposed to be at my door? And then they've been delivering my packages. I order my stuff. They've been delivering my packages up to my rental office. I'm like, no, my address is on my account with Amazon, so my packages should meet me at my door. My neighbor had to bring my packages down here. I didn't even know my packages were up at my rental office. I live in an apartment complex. So my packages are up at my rental office, and I'm trying to figure out who is directing my packages up there, or something I didn't even sign up for. So after I finish receiving my packages for this week, I'm not going to order anything else. So, and then UPS and USPS, they working together. So somebody is directing my packages up to my rental office. At first they had signed my packages up for the hub. Like my packages come here. They were supposed to come to my house. But then somebody signed me up for the hub because none of us I live in my complex. I live in this apartment complex. And they have a hub where you can pick your packages up at the rental office where you pay your rent at. You know. But I'm like, I didn't sign up for that. You know, so I had to cancel that. I had to cancel something that I didn't even sign up for. So what they did was they canceled me off of that, but they still, you know, sending my packages up the street. I'm like, some of my packages have come to my door. Some of my packages have come to my door. Like the mailman brought me a package a couple of days ago. So I'm trying to work on my little business, and then they deterred all my packages way up there to my rental office. See, you know, some of the products that I'm working on. My label, my logo. This is the shampoo, and so you always see it's all a part of branding. I'll probably do another video just on branding, but yeah, they're directing sending my packages up there to the rental office. So, you know, this comes under consumer, I will put this under consumer law. You know, I got to check with Amazon to find out, you know, Amazon, UPS, and USPS. I'm trying to figure out why my packages going up the street to my rental office, something I didn't even sign up for. I pay for my products to have them, I order my products, pay for them, to have them delivered to my door, not up the street where I got to walk out my house and go get them. That don't make sense. I mean, people had the opportunity to sign up for that. That is what they want, but I didn't sign up for it. That's not what I want. So I would look at it as consumer law. There's always somewhere, somebody trying to get over on somebody. So I'm waiting 2 weeks already to get the clippers that I ordered. But I know they probably came from out of town, but I'm just saying, or China or somewhere. But I've been waiting 2 weeks. Why all of a sudden the last day or two, it's late, it's going to be late. Oh, sorry, it's going to be late, there's a delay. Nah, you should have told me that when I first put my order in. Why couldn't you? And that's not the first time it happened with that package. So they did that with several other packages. I'm like, what is going on? So, you know. So it says, consumer law involves all of the regulations and statutes that seek to create a more equitable balance for buyers in the marketplace and prevent sellers from using dishonest tactics. So dishonest tactics, so it made me think that, I don't know if they're doing anything dishonest or what is going on. I ordered my stuff, and it's about the third or fourth time that happened. My stuff supposed to come, I already ordered. In other words, you order your products, and everything seemed good. Because I always track my packages on my Amazon page. So I'm tracking my package, and everything okay. Everything seems okay. And then down to the last day or two, oh, sorry, it's going to be late. All of a sudden, it's going to be late. When it's time for my package to meet me at my door, oh, nah, y'all, it's sorry, it's going to be late. Nah, that don't sound right to me. And it happened too many times. So I'm like, you know, and then they don't even answer the phone. I know we got COVID-19 going on, but you can't even contact Amazon. They don't even answer their phone. What kind of business is that? You're a multi-billion-dollar company, and you don't even have nobody that can work from home and answer the phone. Come on, now. I'm at home. I'm only one person. I answer my phone. I'm like, you a multi-billion-dollar company and you don't have nobody that you can pay to answer the phone? Should pay me. I answer the phone for real. For real, pay me. Pay me from home. I'll be glad to answer the phone for you. You need somebody to answer the phone? Hey, just I'll answer your phone. It don't make no difference to me. Pay me, I'll do it. Okay, it says a consumer is any individual who purchases goods or services which may be sold by manufacturers, wholesalers, or retailers. Both state and federal laws play a role in regulating consumer law. These laws range from prohibiting false advertising and imposing product safety measures to regulating debt collection practices, and protecting consumers' identifying information. So in other words, it protects our information. It protects our identifying information, false advertising, safety measures in products and all that. Consumers often find themselves needing legal help after falling victim to an online scam, purchasing a car or other product without being told of hidden defects, or losing money in financial schemes such as identity theft or unauthorized credit card charges. So consumer law is something I probably want. I just gave a little insight on some of these different laws, but there's so many of them. Administrative law, consumer law. I just read up on marine law where they're governing govern the seas. The sea, the waters. We already know about criminal. See, the basics are criminal and civil. Criminal, civil, business, international law. But there's so many different laws that I am going to read up on, many as I can. So I want to say thanks for joining me today. And this is, something that I'm going to do. And so I'm going to definitely read up on some other laws. I want to read up on some more laws, but I don't want to make this video too long because it's already an hour and 11 minutes. So I want to read up on some more laws, and so I want to say thanks for joining me today. And I am still continuing to brand my products, So you got your labels on everything. Labels on everything, and also my oils that I'll be marketing too. But thanks for joining me. Hope to see you back here again. So just thought I would touch base on some different laws, because I think that is very important, different laws. So I did criminal, civil. I think yesterday I did contract law and intellectual property law. And intellectual property law, the intellect, your mind, you're writing books, you're writing movies, you're writing plays, your words, all, I took a course one time, and one of the questions in the course was, do we own our own words? Do we own our own words? So that was one of the questions in in a course. So, but I'll touch base more on that the next time I see you. So thanks for joining me today, and I hope to see you back here again, same place, same time, same channel, the Cheryl Hubbard Show. And I want to say you all have a good one.